Hi, I'm bored and have nothing better to do right now, so let's enjoy some shitty, low effort content. I have every album ever put into Rock Band right here. Going to rate them all, obviously. I don't know every single one, but I do know most of them. If I don't know an album here, I'll just not rate it. I guess I should explain my criteria for every tier. F means basically I hate most of the songs on the album, and there's very little, if no, redeeming qualities. D means I generally dislike the album, but there's at least a few redeeming qualities. C basically means I'm indifferent towards the album. B means I think most of the album is at the very least decent. A means I actually like most of the songs on the album. And S means not only do I like all or at least most of the songs on the album, but I think at least a few of the songs on it are also great in addition to liking them. Alright, now that that's out of the way, let's get started here. Alright, I actually have no idea what the hell this is, so I'm just gonna drag it over here. Okay, Bold as Love. Starting off strong here. I'm gonna give it an A. I like Jimi Hendrix. I think most of the songs are pretty decent, pretty catchy. However, the only song on the album that I think is actually great is the song Bold as Love itself. It's probably one of my favorite Hendrix songs. The rest, while I like, none of them strike me as being great, so I don't think it's good enough for S tier in my opinion. So I think A tier is a good place for it. Alright, the Bob Marley album. I actually listened to this a few days ago in preparation for this video because I did not remember it at all. And unfortunately, I just personally didn't care for it too much. Pretty weird, out there songs that I honestly thought were pretty boring. Now, I'm sure there's really good messages behind them and whatnot, but I'm rating it purely on song quality, in my opinion, and I was honestly just bored while listening to most of this. Oh, speaking of which, I should probably also clarify real quick. I am rating this purely on the quality of the songs themselves, not how fun or challenging or annoying they were to play in game. It's purely based on the quality of the albums themselves musically, and that's it. Alright, moving on. I have no idea what this is, so it's going here. Alright, let's get all of the Amberyan Dawn albums out of the way at once. I'm putting all of the Amberyan Dawn albums. Where's the third one here? Holy shit, I'm blind. Where is it? Let me find it. Did I pass it up? Holy shit, this is such a bad video. I actually can't find the third Amberyan Dawn album. There it is. I'm blind. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Okay, let me explain my general problem with Amberyan Dawn. I actually listened to these three albums a few days ago in preparation for this video, and the main reason they're in C tier is because they just have like this weird mix of opera and metal that just kind of falls flat in my opinion. I do like them instrumentally. They have some pretty good guitar solos, pretty good riffs, but the singing just kind of ruins it for me a bit. Like, they don't seem to know if they want to be a metal band or an opera band, and they have like this weird fusion of the two that I don't think really works that well. So overall, I guess it makes them C tier. Basically, I just think of them as a discount Nightwish. If you want to hear a metal band with a female vocalist that sings clean vocals, listen to Nightwish instead of Amberyan Dawn. Nightwish basically does what they do better, in my opinion. Okay, American Idiot. I'm just gonna give it a B. I generally like Green Day, but I wouldn't say they're great by any means. They have fairly decent, catchy songs, I guess. At least on this album, so I'll put it in B tier. Speaking of Green Day, though, I think Dookie is definitely their best album. Probably the best you can get with like some radio rock punk band like them. Their songs are good, the songs are catchy. I like Dookie. Alright, John Lennon album. I actually did also listen to this recently because I barely remembered it from Rock Band. And it's just a C. A lot of the songs honestly kind of bored me. I was mostly indifferent towards it, so it goes into C. Alright, Moving Pictures. Oh wait, I'm skipping the Foo Fighters album. I'll put it in B. Decent songs, but nothing I have like really strong feelings towards. I think they're at least decent and catchy, so it also goes in B tier. Alright, Moving Pictures. This is gonna be our first S tier album. I like every song on the album, except for Witch Hunt, which I think is kind of meh, but I don't think it's bad enough to drag the whole album down. And obviously it has YYZ, fantastic instrumental, and I actually, upon listening to it again, really appreciated the camera eye musically. I never really properly listened to it before outside of Rock Band. I only just thought of it as the insanely difficult drum FC. But it actually just has like this grandiose, epic feel to it, in my opinion. And the other songs, good, catchy, but I think the Camera Eye and YYZ are basically masterpieces. So, yeah, first S tier on the list. Nevermind. I hope this album cover doesn't get this video flagged. But yeah, I think it's fairly decent and catchy. Not really much else to say. Alright, Nothing Shocking by Jane's Addiction. Alright, people who I've talked to a lot in the community in the past probably know I generally have disliked Jane's Addiction in the past. However, I did recently re-listen to this album, and I actually appreciate it a bit more. I was surprised at how much I liked them instrumentally. A lot of the songs have really catchy riffs, really catchy bass lines in particular. The thing that just holds it back, in my opinion, is the singer. I'm just not a fan of the singer's voice at all. If they had a better singer, they would definitely be A tier, but yeah, I think I definitely appreciate them more than I used to at the very least. So yeah, I'll give them a B tier rating. Also hope the image is small enough to not get this video flagged. Alright, moving on. I don't know what the hell this is, so it's going here. Doolittle. I'm gonna give it a D. I did actually recently listen to this album. I was pretty bored throughout most of it. I thought it had at least a few somewhat decently catchy songs, which kept it out of F tier, but it's a really weird, out there album. Pretty unorthodox sound to it. Not really much else to say. Was kind of just bored throughout most of it. I don't know what this is, so we're putting it here. Cars album, it's okay. I think a few of the songs are decently catchy, but nothing too good. I think B is a good rating for it. London Calling, same thing pretty much. I do like most of the songs on the album, but I don't think any of them are like particularly good or anything. I do definitely like it more than I dislike it though, so that's also B in my opinion. Alright, Ziltoid. This is definitely an S tier album. Fantastic writing. The songs are really creative, really good. It also tells a story, and I really like how Devin Townsend re-recorded some parts of it specifically for Rock Band. I thought that was also really cool. Very creative, very unique, very well written album. Very good songs as well. That's a strong S tier in my opinion. Okay, British Steel Live. I do like Judas Priest, but these live recordings are not that good. They're not terrible, but I'm mostly indifferent towards them, so I'll put it in C tier. Are You Experienced? Yeah, I'm gonna put this in A tier. Pretty good, catchy songs, but I don't know if anything on the album really stands out as being great. So, not S tier, but I do actually quite like most of the songs on this album, so I think it's deserving of A tier. Alright, Vile. The Discount Slayer. I think my main problem with Vile is that I think hearing Slayer before them has set the bar too high on thrash metal bands, so I'm kind of underwhelmed by them. They do have some fairly decent songs. I'd be lying if I said I never subconsciously headbanged to a few of their riffs, but they don't really do much for me. Mostly just indifferent towards them, so I'll put them in C tier. If you want a thrash metal band to listen to, just listen to Slayer instead. They do what Vile does, but way better. Chinese Democracy. I have very mixed feelings on this album. It's definitely their most experimental album. They tried a few new things, which I appreciated. Kind of a mixed bag. Some of it was good, some of it was bad. I did re listen to it recently, and I did kind of appreciate the fact that they tried new things and they brought in some really good guitarists. I think that's the main highlight of this album. The guitar solos from Buckethead and Bumblefoot. I think some songs are good, some are pretty bad. Because of the mixed feelings there, I'll put it in B tier. The main things I disliked about the album were the two attempts at ballads from Catcher in the Rye and fuck, I forgot the name of the other ballad. They basically just struck me as discount November Rains. But I appreciate the attempt at doing something new, and I think the guitar solos are enough to carry it to at least B tier. Alright, 20th Century Breakdown. Probably my least favorite Green Day album. It's not particularly bad, but I don't really have strong feelings one way or the other towards it. just C, indifferent towards it mostly. Halcyon Way. When I first heard these songs on the Rock Band Network, I kind of liked them, but now in hindsight, I think a lot of them just kind of drag on for too long. The main choruses and riffs in a lot of their songs are decent, I think, but I think a lot of them are just kind of unnecessarily long, which kind of ruined it for me going back to it. If I made this list in 2012, I'd probably put it in B or A tier, but I got kind of bored of them listening to them recently, so I'll put them in C tier. Screaming for Vengeance. Yeah, fairly solid album. I don't think anything about it really strikes me as being that amazing, so I'll put it in B, but yeah, it's a solid album. Fallen Angel. Okay. I promise I'm not letting the terribleness of the drum charts impact my rating here at all. I'm gonna put them in D tier. So, the first thing that came to mind when I heard Fallen Angel for the first time is basically huge discount Iron Maiden. But the thing that I particularly don't like about them is the singer's voice, which I think is really grating and terrible. Also, the guitar tones in a lot of their songs sound really bad. The only thing that keeps it out of F tier is that I think a few of their solos are at the very least decent sounding, specifically the ones in Sinner's Vengeance and fuck, what's it called? Oh, Respiration, Desperation, the Neutral Zone. That's basically the only saving grace I can think of for Fallen Angel, and I think it's barely enough to keep them out of F tier. The singing is absolutely terrible, though. Like, listen to the high note on and On, for example. That is just comically bad. I actually laughed out loud the first time I heard that. Also, the guitar solos in On and On sound like absolute shit. Just sounds like a mess of random notes, in my opinion. So, yeah, not a big fan of Fallen Angel, but I think their instrumental work is at the very least good enough to keep them out of F tier. Alright, Peace Cells. Yeah, I quite like this album. It's pretty good. I generally don't like Dave Mustaine's voice, but I don't think it's too horribly out of place for their music. Plus, I think Megadeth's instrumental work is fantastic. So, yeah, A tier. Not S, because I don't know if any songs on this album really strike me as being quote unquote masterpieces. So, I think A is a good rating for Peace Cells. Rust in Peace, on the other hand, I think is S tier. Almost every single song on this album is great. Fantastic instrumental work as well. Some of the best guitar solos I've ever heard. Fantastic riffs. Just very good album. Let me just make sure OBS is still recording. Okay. It's been weird on me lately. I know of the Main Drag, but I haven't heard this album, so we're just gonna throw it here. I don't know why Death Magnetic is here. It's not in Rock Band, so we're not gonna rate that. Alright, Motley Crue. Basically, if you like cheesy 80s hair metal, then you'll probably like them. I'm personally kind of indifferent towards them, so I'll put it in C tier. If there was anything that I had to praise about Motley Crue is that I think their guitar solos are at least pretty good, but the general cheesiness of their songs kind of holds it back a little bit. I think C is a good rating for them. No Doubt. I actually really like this album. Very catchy songs. Almost every song, I think, is at least fairly catchy and memorable. I will admit that Don't Speak kind of makes me swoon. But not S tier, because I don't think any of the songs really stand out as being great, even though I think most of them are good. So yeah, A tier. I don't know what the hell this is, so it's going here. Okay, the Pantera album. Which I actually am forgetting the name of it right now. Even though I've actually FC'd this entire album on drums. Anyway, I'll give it a B. Not Pantera's best work in my opinion, but it's decent. Sorry, I'm talking a lot. Should have gotten water before this. The thing I don't particularly like about this is that it's kind of a weird mix between, like, how do I say this? A standard metal band, kind of like that of Metallica, and a death metal band. It's like this weird in-between state with kind of the screaming vocals, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it's Pantera. They have really good riffs, still really good guitar solos and whatnot. I just think the more death metal-esque vocals kind of hold it back a little bit, in my opinion. Alright, moving on. Richelieu. Very solid S tier. Almost every song on this album is fantastic. Not really sure what else to say about them. Just very good songs. Alright, I have no idea what the hell this is, so it's going here. Blood Sugar Sex Mix. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Red Hot Chili Peppers has some good, catchy, funky riffs and whatnot. Nothing that I think stands out as being, like, too amazing, but it's a solid album. B tier, I think. Spinal Tap. I actually really like this album. Very catchy songs. Definitely a unique album. I actually really like Stonehenge, particularly the banjo section that just comes out of nowhere. I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, overall, pretty good album. Fuck, I'm just kind of repeating myself now. Okay, I think I have some unique things to say about this album. I do really like the guitar playing on this album. However, I'm not a huge fan of, like, the southerny blues type music. Can't say I'm too fond of that. Kind of a mixed bag, but I'll put it in B tier. Definitely like it, but not something I'd, like, listen to outside of Rock Band. Pearl Jam, mostly just indifferent towards them. Gonna put it here. Rubber Soul. Yeah, I like this album. Good, but I don't know if any of the songs really stand out as being great, so not S tier. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Yeah, I think most of the songs are pretty good, but I don't know if anything really stands out as being amazing in my opinion. Abbey Road, on the other hand, is fucking fantastic. Definitely S tier. Great songs. We've all heard the Abbey Road medley, I'm pretty sure. Alright, and the rest of these, I actually don't know what they are. Well, I know what Death Magnetic is, but it's not in Rock Band, so I'm not gonna rate it. And yeah, there you go. I didn't really hate anything enough to put in F tier. I'll probably link this tier list in the description if you guys want to make a list of your own. And yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this low effort content. Okay, bye.